Good evening, everybody, and welcome to A Bard Stories. The title says it, Bednobs and Broomsticks. But I'm surprised how many people have never seen this. It's a story about children that were evacuated from London in 1940 to avoid the nightly blitz, that's the nightly air assault by the Nazis on England. These children were taken out into the countryside and smaller towns to try and save them. When I say people that hadn't seen it, my wife will be 49 years old this year. Sorry, hon. She'd never seen it until this year. I got to watch her smile and laugh. This is just a good, fun movie. It may remind you a little bit of the Chronicles of Narnia in some ways during it, but that's okay. Great movie nonetheless. So from 1971, Disney Studios, starring Angela Lansbury, David Tomlinson, Ian Weighill, Sidney Callahan, and Roy Snart, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. So as I said, the Nazis were bombing England. They had to move the children out away from the cities to save them. This orphaned many of them. Many of them were orphaned because of the bombing. But these children, these young children, were taken out and placed in a home of, well, Angela Lansbury, Miss Elgantine Price, Miss Price, a would-be witch. Well, I say would-be because she's trying her best, but she's got a lot to learn. The children are placed with her, and, well, one of the first things they see is her trying to ride a broom.
Clasp the broom with both hands. Yes, of course. No, never astride the broom. Yes, of course. Technically, a witch is always a lady, except when circumstances dictate otherwise.
Well, the kids also, having seen her witchcraft, want to run back to England. Get away from her. Run back to London. Excuse me. I'm American. We won the war. Anyway, these kids, they try and run away, but she convinces them to stay by making a bedknob magical for the youngest of the children, Paul. Later, Miss Price reveals to them that her school is closing, but if she can find that spell, she can help. Well, how will she find that spell? Well, that bedknob she made for Paul will take him anywhere that he wants. So he decides to get them all on the bed, and they're going to go find that book. And they end up going to Portobello Road.
1, 2, 3.
They meet Mr. Brown at Portobello Road. He's very charismatic, kind of a street hustler. I believe street magician is what they called him at the time. He makes jokes and little songs out of the book that she's looking for. Well, he finally does give them the book. And that last spell is missing, the one she's looking for. They find out from another person that somebody took it, the person who created it, and they went to the Isle of Nabubu. There the animals killed him. Well, let's just say Nabubu it's an interesting place, and they do like soccer. Well, football to the rest of the world. And there's going to be a very big football match on that island to get what they need.
To sit in His Majesty's royal box. No littering, no chewing, no fruit or wrappers from boiled sweets. Please.
Well, as we discovered, the spell is actually on the king's necklace or pendant. And how will we ever get that off? Well, Mr. Brown's pretty good at things being brought up on the streets.
Please, let me help you on with your road.
Why, yes, thank you, yes.
Can't have you catching cold, sire, can we?
Why, no.
Have you ever heard of something called the Gypsy Switch?
No, can't say that I have.
Remind me to tell you about it sometime.
Well, now that she has the spell, they return back home, and Mrs. Price is going to cast that spell. The children declare they want Mr. Brown, who is the person that, helped them get everything, to be their father. But Mr. Brown, wary of comments, bids goodbye to the group and attempts to take a train back to London. Right now, the Nazis are landing, and they're going to invade and cause all kinds of chaos. Well, Mrs. Bryce finds out about this, and she casts a spell on, some very patriotic people from England's past. And now it transitions into pure Disney, just fun. Just Disney fun. There used to be a time Disney knew how to make shows that made you smile and laugh. And this was definitely one of them, without a doubt. Well, the Nazis repelled, the Home Guard victorious. Mrs. Price's disappointment and she wasn't the best witch, as I said. It all came together. And they won. Mrs. Price officially adopted those children. And she raised them. Mr. Brown also became their father. A very fitting, good story. It's just fun. There's so much more to my movies when I do the reviews, as you know. And I like to leave it so that you know. The soundtrack, it was Disney magic. Animation, top of the line. That's what Disney did. Actors and actresses, they made it fun. So, if you got some time, this is kind of sometimes I call it a Halloween movie because it's fall more than anything, and it's that, it just kind of feels right this time of year. You're going to start seeing some of this season's movies coming out from me. Dracula will be one. Probably a few Vincent Price. Most likely The Raven. So until next time, I hope you enjoy this movie as much as I did. Have a wonderful evening.